have a quorum, and we definitely have an applicant. So let's say good evening, and well, I'm supposed to do that. And we will open the Board of Appeals meeting, the 346th meeting of the City of Laurel Board of Appeals. Wow. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Whitley, Mr. Lee, Ms. Les.
Here.
Ms. Collins.
Here.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Chairwoman Chenault.
Yes.
You have a quorum, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Is there anything we need to discuss before we go through all of this, or we'll do that at the end? Okay, fine. Then we'll just get right to the approval of the minutes from the meeting of December 28th. Are there any corrections or amendments? Then may I have a motion?
Making a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
Okay, may I have a second? Second.
Ms. Collins.
Yes.
Ms. Les.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah.
Chairwoman Chenault.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 3, special exception application number 883, resolution number 17-09-BOA-Bank of America-ATM, filed by Matthew Tedesco, Esquire, care of Nelco Architecture Corporation, seeing special exception to install an ATM, it should be an ATM located at 14601 Baltimore Avenue, Laurel, Maryland. May we have a reading of the public record, please?
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman and board members.
How are you?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Special exception application number 883 was filed on February 21st, 2018 by Matthew Tedesco, Esquire, care of Nelson and Nelco Architecture Corporation, to construct and operate a drive-through automated teller machine at 14601 Baltimore Avenue in Laurel, Maryland. Under date of March 5th, 2018, the application and cover letter asking for comments were also sent to the following agencies: the Maryland State Highway Administration, the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, Prince George's County Health Department, Maryland Department of Planning, Baltimore Gas and Electric Company, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Prince George's County Department of Permitting, Inspections and Enforcement, Verizon, and Prince George's County Public Schools Department of Capital Programs. Under date of March 5th, 2018, a memorandum asking for comments was sent to the following city departments: Department of Public Works, Police Department, Department of Parks and Recreation, and the Office of Fire Marshal and Permit Services. The following agency responses were received. No issues with the requested comments from the Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission, Prince George's County Health Department, Maryland State Highway Administration, Prince George's County Public Schools Department of Capital Programs, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, and Prince George's County Department of Permitting, Inspections and Enforcement. The following responses were received from the city departments. From the Laurel Police Department, they had no issues with the request. From the City of Laurel Department of Parks and Recreation, they had no issues with the request. From the City of Laurel Fire Marshal, there was no issues with the request. And the following comments from the City of Laurel Department of Public Works. This department has reviewed the special exception application for the proposed Bank of America drive-through automated teller machine within the Boulevard Shops shopping center, located on the northeast corner of the intersection of US 1 and Oak Street. This proposal is for one standalone ATM without indoor banking facilities or staffed employees. The following comments and recommendations are offered at this time. The shopping center can be accessed through US 1 and through Cherry Lane and Oak Street. The applicant is responsible for any state permit, county permit, and site access improvements if it is required by the state or by the county. No improvements are proposed in the city's public right-of-way at this time. If any roadway closures or public sidewalk closures are needed on the city street, the applicant must contact this department for approval prior to the start of the work. If any utility cuts are to be performed on a city street, the restoration work must follow the city standards that require permanent patches in the cut area with a 2-inch mill and overlay from curb to curb and a minimum of 25 feet in each direction of the cut. The applicant is responsible for all damages within the public right-of-way. The plan is to close the existing Bank of America drive-through ATM on the south side of Oak Street. The new proposed ATM on the north side of Oak Street is not expected to negatively impact the current traffic condition. According to the auto turn analysis, the proposed site design will accommodate the turning radius for passenger vehicles. Please ensure that the passenger vehicles include compacts and subcompact vehicles, sedans, pickup trucks, SUVs, minivans, and full-size vans. In addition to the proposed stop, do not enter signs at the drive-through ATM exit, an additional stop sign needs to be installed at the landscape area near the new freestanding electrical data service rack. This additional stop sign installation will prevent traffic conflicts between the drive-through ATM traffic and the delivery truck traffic through the backside of the shopping center. No other comments were received. On March 6, 2018, a letter explaining the nature of the application, advising of the scheduled public hearings on the application before the Planning Commission and the Board of Appeals, was sent by certified mail to all contiguous property owners. All return receipts were received. A memorandum from the City of Laurel Planning Commission to the Board of Appeals dated December 18, 2017 reads as follows. At the regular meeting of the City of Laurel Planning Commission held on April 10, 2018, the following action was taken on the subject zoning application. The Commission, on motion of Mr. Welford, seconded by Mr. Kish, and carried on a roll call vote of all members present, voted to recommend approval of special exception number 883 for Bank of America ATM drive-through located at 1460 Baltimore Avenue, Laurel, Maryland 20707, with the amendment to the included the use of another security camera to cover the drive-through area, along with the following conditions listed in the technical staff report to the Board of Appeals. Number 1, the applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel sign permit. Number 2, the applicant shall replace the 2 trees being removed for the project. Number 3, the applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel building permit. Number 4, the applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel electrical permit. Number 5, the applicant shall install a new stop sign at the landscape area near the new freestanding electrical data service rack. And number 6, the applicant shall comply with all federal, state, and local laws and regulations for the protection of the use of the property. In regards to the concerns of the Planning Commission, it has been confirmed that the kiosk will also have a second camera that will be able to view the drive-through lane and the area surrounding the kiosk. The file contains a certificate of publication verifying that this application and public hearing was advertised in the April 19, 2018 issue of the Prince George's Sentinel. The file contains an affidavit signed by the applicant attesting that a zoning sign has been placed on the subject property, has remained, and shall remain until the decision is reached by the Board of Appeals. That concludes the reading of the file, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Well, on our sign-up sheet, we have Matthew Tedesco. If you would like to come to the podium and give us your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Matthew Tedesco. I'm with the law firm of McNamee Hosey in Greenbelt. I'm just down the road. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, and thank you for entertaining this application. I'd like to thank Mr. Love and his staff and the staff of the city who thoroughly reviewed this application. We've met with your staff on a number of occasions leading up to the filing of the application and subsequently to that. And I believe with the reading of the record, as well as the information that's in your material and the information that's been reviewed by the Planning Commission, I stand before you and believe that all criteria for this special exception have been met. We're happy to answer any questions. I'd proffer testimony, incorporate and adopt as our testimony tonight, our statement of justification in support of that application, which is found primarily on pages 3 and 6 of our justification. We do agree with staff's proposed conditions in its memorandum to this body. Subsequently to the Planning Commission hearing, we did obtain additional information in response to some questions regarding security cameras. I did provide Mr. Love with a response to that. We do have, if needed, if the board so desires, we do have a photograph of a recently constructed kiosk, although I have to admit I'm not sure of its location. It's not in the county, but it clearly evidences the exterior camera that the Planning Commission was interested in making sure is provided. So the actual ATM has 2 cameras. one that you would expect that photographs the individual accessing, using the ATM, and another one on the kiosk itself, exterior, one of those bubble globe cameras that will video the entire drive aisle of cars coming and going. One of the, and I would just proffer as well, one of the initial comments or concerns that staff had with respect to this proposed special exception had to deal with circulation and queuing primarily. And in response to that, the applicant, through my recommendation, contracted with Mr. Mike Lenhart, who's here with me this evening. He's an expert traffic engineer, does many projects within the state of Maryland and Prince George's County. And you do have that traffic analysis in your backup, which we would also incorporate. And one of the, I think, key takeaways from that analysis was that, as originally presented, the drive aisle when the auto turn was applied, didn't really accommodate, although it will be infrequent, left turns into the drive aisle. So in response to that analysis, we did widen the receiving drive aisle lane to accommodate that turn. Staff wanted to make sure that, although as infrequently as it may be, cars coming in from Oak and then having to make that left into the ATM drive aisle could do so without having to do a 3-point turn and potentially block circulation.
Right.
So that was a direct change to the plan in response to that analysis. All cars will free flow. There's sufficient queuing. An analysis was done on the ATM to the south to determine what the proper queues, proper peak times. And so we feel very confident that this ATM will have a fairly de minimis impact on existing conditions. So, and with that, we're happy to answer any questions, and we appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, anybody have any questions? No? Nothing?
Well, the trees that you're going to take down, 2 trees, I guess, during the construction, the replace, where are those trees? Are they along the side, that red line down the bottom?
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know if do you have copies of the plans in front of you by chance?
I mean, it's not a big deal. I was just kind of curious where the trees were and why they needed.
They're basically, so there's existing about 12 parking spaces along that frontage of Oak. And there's a number of trees, but there's 2 primarily right in the middle that would have to be removed. And the reason for that is the financial institutions article of the annotated code requires 50-foot unobstructed radius around all ATMs, and there has to be at least 2-foot candle. So those trees would have inhibited that. So under that statute, we have to remove them. But at staff's recommendation, which we've agreed, we are replanting 2 oak trees a little closer to Route 1, kind of where if you have the site plan where the ATM receiving lane kind of comes in. So it'll actually better screen from Route 1. So they won't be replaced in kind, but they will be replaced in the general location, a little bit closer to Route 1, and to adhere to that 50-foot radius.
When do you estimate construction to start on this?
Assuming we don't want to be too presumptuous, but assuming that this is approved, my expectation from my client is that they would move very quickly towards pulling permits and commencing. So I would say probably before the end of the summer, I would expect that they would start, depending on the permitting process.
Well, it looks like everyone has really done their due diligence with reviewing everything and making the suggested recommendations, and you have no objection to following the recommendations put forth by the Planning Commission. So may I have a motion if there is no other discussion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the special exception application number 883, resolution number 17-09-BOA, Bank of America ATM, as presented.
As presented with conditions, okay. May I have a second? Thank you.
Ms. Collins?
Yes.
Ms. Les?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah.
Chairwoman Chenault?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good
You're
luck.
welcome. All right. Well, is there any other business to discuss?
No, ma'am.
Nope. Well, then we will adjourn the meeting at 7:25.
Thank you, everyone.